Imagine boarding a plane.
Within minutes, you rise above the clouds.
Cities shrink beneath you. Mountains look like tiny wrinkles in the earth. In just a few hours, you can cross an entire continent. To us, this feels normal. But if someone from just 200 years ago saw this, they would believe it was magic. Flying through the sky in a metal machine carrying hundreds of people? Impossible. Yet this incredible technology did not appear overnight. Every plane in the sky today is the result of thousands of years of human curiosity, invention, and persistence. To understand how we reached this point, we must do something unusual. Instead of moving forward in time, we are going to travel backward. Step by step.
From modern airplanes, to the earliest machines, to horses and wooden wheels,
and finally, to the very beginning of transportation. A time when the fastest way to travel was simply walking. This is the story of how humanity learned to move faster than ever before. Today, air travel is one of the greatest engineering achievements in human history.
Every day, more than 100,000 flights cross the skies of our planet. Massive aircraft carry hundreds of passengers at speeds of over 500 miles per hour. Inside these flying machines are thousands of complex parts.
Jet engines powerful enough to push a metal giant through the air. Navigation systems guided by satellites orbiting the Earth.
Cabins pressurized so passengers can breathe comfortably miles above the ground.
To us, airplanes are simply another way to travel. But the dream of flying is much older than modern technology. For thousands of years, humans looked at birds in the sky and asked a simple question. What if we could do that too? For most of history, the answer seemed impossible. Gravity always won.
Until one day in 1903, two brothers from Ohio changed everything. Wilbur and Orville Wright were not famous scientists. They ran a small bicycle shop.
But they were fascinated with one idea: human flight. For years, they studied birds. They experimented with gliders.
They crashed many times.
But every failure taught them something new. Finally, on December 17, 1903, on a windy beach in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina,
their machine lifted off the ground.
It stayed in the air for just 12 seconds. But those 12 seconds changed the future of transportation forever. Because from that moment forward, humans were no longer limited to the ground. The sky had become a highway. Yet airplanes were only the latest chapter in a much older story. Before humans conquered the sky, we first had to master the land. In the late 1800s, a new machine began appearing on roads. It made loud noises. It produced smoke. And it frightened horses. This strange invention was called the automobile. Early cars were slow, unreliable, and expensive.
But they had one revolutionary advantage.
They did not need animals to pull them.
Instead, they used an internal combustion engine.
A controlled explosion of fuel created motion.
Inventors like Carl Benz and later Henry Ford improved these machines rapidly. Ford's introduction of the assembly line in 1913 made cars affordable for millions of Americans.
Suddenly, ordinary people could travel farther than ever before. Roads expanded. Cities spread outward. Entire cultures were reshaped by this new freedom of movement. But cars themselves were inspired by something even older. Something simpler. Something powered not by fuel, but by human muscles. Long before cars filled highways, another invention transformed personal travel: the bicycle. In the early 1800s, a German inventor named Karl Drais created a strange wooden machine called the Lauf machine. It had two wheels and handlebars, but no pedals. Riders pushed themselves forward with their feet. Later inventors added pedals, chains, and gears. Suddenly people could travel long distances quickly using only their own strength. The bicycle became one of the most important inventions in modern history. It changed city design. It inspired mechanical innovations. And interestingly, many early automobile and airplane inventors were bicycle mechanics.
Even the Wright brothers built and repaired bicycles before they built airplanes.
But bicycles still relied entirely on human power. Before them, transportation depended on something else entirely: animals. For thousands of years, horses were the engines of civilization. They pulled carts. They carried soldiers. They transported goods across continents.
Entire empires depended on the speed and strength of horses.
The Roman Empire built vast road networks for horse travel. The Pony Express delivered messages across the American frontier on horseback. Without horses, the expansion of many civilizations would have been impossible.
But horses alone were not enough
to carry heavy goods and long-distance trade. Humans needed another crucial invention.
One so important that historians often consider it one of the greatest inventions in human history:
the wheel. Around 3500 BC, in ancient Mesopotamia, humans created the first wheels.
At first, they were simple wooden discs,
heavy and crude. But they allowed carts to move heavy loads far more efficiently than dragging objects across the ground. This single idea changed everything. Trade expanded. Agriculture improved. Cities grew larger.
And transportation became dramatically easier.
Over time, wheels became stronger and lighter. Spoked wheels appeared. Carriages and wagons spread across civilizations.
The wheel eventually powered machines, factories, and vehicles.
But even this revolutionary invention was not the true beginning. Before wheels, before horses, before machines, transportation depended on only one thing: human movement. Tens of thousands of years ago, humans explored the world on foot.
They crossed deserts. They climbed mountains.
They walked across frozen landscapes during the Ice Age.
These early journeys allowed humanity to spread across the entire planet.
Every civilization began with footsteps. Step by step, humans mapped rivers, forests, and continents. Walking may seem simple today.
But without those first explorers,
none of our modern transportation systems would exist. Because every great invention begins with a basic need:
the desire to go farther. From airplanes soaring above the clouds,
to roaring automobiles, to simple bicycles,
to horses and wooden wheels,
and finally to bare human feet. The story of transportation is really the story of human ambition.
We are a species that refuses to stay still.
We build. We experiment. We imagine new ways to move faster and farther than ever before. And if history has taught us anything, the journey is far from over. Because the next revolution in transportation might already be taking shape today.